Good morning, evening, afternoon. Moss here. Hope you are doing well. This is Moss Sajady with Moss on Sunday. And again, we get a ton of new people every time. So welcome for you all. Again, those XIers, how are you all doing? It's really a great time to be alive, isn't it? There's so much chaos going on, and it's like, well, why is it such a great time to be alive? Because this is the opportunity that we've all been waiting for. Ooh, my little daughter Zena is on. Hey, honey, how are you? She's online. That's awesome. So this is the opportunity that, well, we've all been waiting for. This is the opportunity that we've waited, thousands and thousands of years. This is that opportunity where people have had glimmers where it's like, we need to be in a civilization or a reality of, that's coming forward. Well, just like anything, just like anything in your life, especially if you've gone through that journey, a lot of times, what happens is that we have to destroy the old way. It's like we've been living in a dilapidated house. Electrical doesn't work, plumbing doesn't work, and well, what are we going to do? Are we going to rebuild that house? We can't do that anymore because then we start repeating history. What we need to do is just start fresh, and this is what's happening for many of you. That's what's happened. You didn't build an old house. You didn't recreate the old version of yourself. You built a brand new version of who you are with the latest technologies, the latest possibilities, your latest abilities. Does that make sense? Comment in on you XIers. It actually helps a lot of people who are just getting into XI going, okay, this is the path. So it's really amazing. So nice job. Um, and this is where we're coming in. There's so many people who are awakening. There are so many people who are awakening that you all who've been here before are literally pioneers, and it creates a bit you've created that path. Now that path is going to get wider, and more worn as more and more individuals. So what that means is that path for people coming forward, you've opened that path, so it makes it a lot easier because that consciousness has opened up. This is what I call the Roger Bannister effect. Okay, Roger Bannister was the man who broke the 4 minute mile. So when he broke the 4 minute mile, he, it was world news. He was the first man to break the 4 minute mile. But once that consciousness was awakened, the coolest thing happened. Weeks later, somebody else broke the 4 minute mile. Months later, more and more people now, it's just standard that, you run a 4 minute mile. So it's become standard for human consciousness or human behavior, society's behavior. There's so many people who've moved over into that higher version of who they are that it allows other people to go, oh, yeah, it's just common natural knowledge, right? And it reminds me, I forgot where I put that quote, but it reminds me of uh, sorry about that, guys. It reminds me of how, new ideas or new concepts or new consciousness comes in. First it's ridiculed. It's ridiculed. That can't be. If, planes can't fly. If we were meant to fly, we'd have wings. And all that stuff. And then later on, it's violently opposed. Right? You have demonstrations and wars and all that stuff. That's what's happening. Right? People in power, the few people who are in power of the world, they're losing. It's like that can't be. They're losing control. It's like, gosh, so they'll try everything, just like you did. You'll try everything to stay the old self, but you can't. And then third, it's accepted as being self-evident. Well, right now in this consciousness, it's starting to be accepted. Like, again, comment in. How many of you back in the day would have said something to your friends and you would be violently opposed or ridiculed, right? Now you talk about frequencies. And many people call me the godfather of frequencies, which is kind of cool. I just don't want a horse head in my bed. That's all. But anyway, for those who remember the Godfather, but nowadays, you talk about frequencies. You talk about uh, changing, not psychologically, but it's your frequency, and it's not even your attitude. And people go, hey, yeah, I get that. I get what you mean. That was because of you all. That's because the world is changing and transforming. So consciousness, physical human consciousness is changing, and at the same time, the universal pattern is changing. So we're meeting, together, and it's going to be rapid transformations. So all the stuff that you'll see. Yesterday, I was watching this thing on the British House. Um, uh, the House of Lords and all that stuff, and how they did like child sex trafficking and all that, which is really, really disgusting, guys. Uh, I'm so ashamed to be. I'm not part of that human race anymore. I'm part of the new human race, by the way. But it's so disgusting to have high level individuals, use and abuse. Why does that happen? Because they're not really leaders. They're fake. They're fucking fake leaders who think they are, and then as they say rise, to power, physical power, they start to realize that there is no power. At, they have no internal power because they sacrificed or sold themselves, and this is where they have to abuse other people. By the way, it's sad. So those people literally have to go, and that's what's happening, especially with consciousness. You, me, all of us coming together, and we're going, no, not accept it. We're just not going to accept it anymore at a conscious level. We don't even have to demonstrate or anything like that. You'll see like the House of Lords and establishments like that just perish overnight. They might have been around thousands of years, but then they just disappear. Just literally, they'll just crush um, overnight. It's kind of crazy, right? Um, if you read scripture, they actually talk about this. They talk about like mountains and even scripture, uh, the Quran, the Bible, the Torah. They talk about frequencies where mountains, in just a blink of an eye. It's like, well, how can that happen? Oh, because this reality is a mirage, and you can change a mirage very, very quickly. So you'll see, um, it's not going to be decades and decades in a fast transition. It's like a tornado or hurricane that just comes through, wipes everything out, and we're all clean. So that's where we're coming to. So congratulations to you. All righty, guys. It's going to be a brave new world, by the way. uh, let's go through. This is unlocking life secrets. Basically, we've gotten some of the top level questions that many of you are asking, and I'll tell you the XI version, the high level version of what these questions are. They are enhancing your mental well being. May is Mental Health Month. So we really want to get into that, really help people transform. We've got the present state of politics and its future direction. That's coming. That question will answer the intersection of AI and consciousness. What's that all about? And then the pursuit of fulfillment and external validation. So again, really big topics. We could even do a lecture series on it if you want to know the science of XI, exponential intelligence. Access the lecture series. There's the science of death, the science of Satan, the science of consciousness, how consciousness works, what realities are. And then in the future, it's going to be on how space time works, how gravity works, and so on, like that. And it'll fill in the gaps of what scientists can't figure out today. So, which is really going to be fantastic, by the way. All right, so we'll just jump right in. Enhancing your mental well-being. So, today in today's science, what we do is what we do to enhance our mental well-being. Contemporary versions is that, well, you need to have a healthy mind, your healthy mind here, and we eat the proper foods, we exercise daily, we get plenty of we go on vacation and so on, like that. And if you are mentally disturbed, what we do is, well, we take medications, we take time off, we take a sabbatical and so on, like that. But there's a whole different there's a whole different way of creating, say, mental well-being or mental health and happiness, and that is through frequencies. And that is through dimensions of space and time. And that sounds really crazy, right? And those who are new, and again, comment in. That sounds really crazy. And again, comment in. Those individuals who are mentally unstable, right? And then through XI, how many of you are just like good? You're good to go, right? Ashwagandha, yeah, that's great for mental health and all that. But again, at a deeper level, how many of you just like are really good now and stable? You don't have to keep taking, say, like ashwagandha. And again, there's nothing wrong with that or any other supplement, which we all need. But the core level of who you are, and that's the problem, the core level of who you are, your identity that goes beyond the concepts of the mental aspect here, your mind has dramatically changed. So your physical mind here, which needs nutrients, which needs supplements, and so on, and I'll talk about that in just a second. That is does still need to be supported. We need to eat the right foods and get the right nutrition to stay stable. Yes, absolutely. But the core level, again, here, that goes beyond the functions of the mind, needs to be stabilized. And that's what many of you have, right? You've stabilized the core level of who you are through the frequency work that we've done with exponential intelligence that goes beyond the physics, the unseen of who you are, or if you want to call it your spirit or your timeless self. You fix that aspect of yourself. And that aspect, by the way, um, is is the core structure, the foundation. So that aspect, once you've changed your master blueprint of who you are, your genetics, your DNA literally starts to change. Say, for example, that you inherited instability, mental instability through your mom or dad, and they inherited it through their mom and dad, and so on and so on. So what happens is that genetically, you're set to have mental ability, just like you're genetically have a higher propensity to have some of the diseases, diabetes, how you age, some of the other diseases, heart disease, and so on like that, straight out. So now you're evolving the way nature would evolve. You're going, you know what? That stuff really didn't work for them. It didn't really benefit them. It's not going to benefit me. I need to kick it out of my gene pool, kick it out of my gene structure. And that's what you've done with XI. And then, so then you're like highly stable. And then now you'll attract foods, you'll attract people, you'll attract natural vacations, so to speak. You'll just gravitate. You don't get forced to have a vacation. You just gravitate to do your work so you don't become mentally stable. And that's the cool thing. You take breaks, you do whatever it is, you learn differently, you schedule your time where there's relaxing time for you and so on like that. How many of you again have naturally gone that path where you naturally take care of yourself from a higher level? It's all part of the process. You don't get forced. You don't need a doctor's approval to go, yeah, you know what, you're stressed out, you need a vacation. It doesn't work like that. You just naturally know how to do that. And that's where natural mental health happens. The cool thing about that is that as you've changed, I would say at a genetic level through the frequency work that you've done with XI, by the way, it's all frequency work. What I do for you, uh, it's not a therapy session. Those take way too long, decades. You can have the same change in about 10 minutes. So and this is why I say it's at a genetic level, because as you've changed, your kids have changed. They're more mentally stable. They're happier. They're not all over the place. They're ADD, ADHD, and all those strange diseases, an outcome of, again, how stable you are at a frequency level. Those disappear in your kids. That's the difference. And that's why I say it's genetics. And people go, well, no, your kids are just around you. This is what scientists would say. It's like your kids are just around you, and that's why they've changed. No, it's not true. Not true at all. So we need to understand the deeper science. Because if you take, say, antidepressants, right, you're more stable, for the most part, right? You're more stable. Your kids are still, no offense, fucked up. they're still going through the same process. They didn't change. You might interact with them a little differently, but then they reproduce the same experience as you did. So again, you really need to understand these scientists nowadays turned into another religion where they just hold on to, old knowledge, and they just literally hold on to old knowledge, and they go, no, this is the way it is. Well, that's how religions were, that's how religions turned dark as well. And that's what's happening to science. As a scientist, please wake up, and practice science, real science, nature's science. um, so, you change at a physical level, or maybe you had a front lobe lobotomy like they used to do it. That was called science back in the day, and they actually believed that, right? Frontal lobe lobotomy for, depression and so on like that. Well, science changed. They don't do that anymore. So again, science is not science unless it's first principle science. Okay, if it, and I'm not cutting down science, but it's turned into another religion. So again, just keep searching. Science is fantastic as long as you realize that. Again, if you have exceptions to your scientific fact, then it's not fact. It's just hearsay. Okay. Uh, anyway, so let's take a deep breath in. We'll turn it into an experiential experience. So back to my example of, you transforming, and then, your child transforming. Again, when you take other modalities, like you change your psychology, your child doesn't change, or your spouse doesn't change, or your friends don't change. When you read a book on how to cope with your mental health issues, right? People around you don't change. They might, yeah, again, they might think you're friendlier or more relaxed, sure, but when you transform at a frequency level, I would say your genetic level. So you change at a frequency level, your genetics change, and then your attitude, habit, your environment, and so on like that change. Okay. When you do that, when you change at that level, do you notice that your child naturally transforms and shifts, and they start to see life from a very different perspective? That's why I say it's much, much deeper. It's not just random or happenstance that your child, your loved ones, your spouse, and so on start to change. Right? Which is really cool, by the way. And by the way, if you're changing and then your spouse refuses to change, well, you'd just break up faster because, well, they're not at the level that you are, and many of you have felt that as well. So, which is really cool. So, whole new way of looking at mental health, or basically any other disease. Technologies as well. It's the inner core of our intelligence. We're starting to access our super intelligence that naturally creates us, which goes beyond, say, the concepts of the mind here. Right? Let's take a deep breath in. We'll move on. The present state of politics and its future direction. Whoa. Today I'll be in a political camp. I've been invited to some. It's not a convention. It's just a gathering of a certain group. I'm not going to tell the group, but again, I'm not impressed with any group, Democrat, Independent, Republican, or anything like that. Because look at it. Let's just look at the bottom line. They haven't really done anything for the country. Yeah, we've improved, but again, we've lost not only our value system. Look at the family structure. Look at the values of today's society. You know, y- we haven't. We've lost everything, and we're just like, how much we've lost our innate value. We've lost our innate value of who we are as humans. Okay. And now we've just turned into, well, a corporation. We literally are, is like, well, how much profit can you make for the corporation? That corporation is the government, right? And you need to make a lot of money. Your profits need to make a lot of money. So you now are enslaved to your work. And that's why working and so on doesn't work out well. Even if you enjoy your job, you get drained, you get burned out, and so on. One of the deeper reasons why that would be is because, just like what I said, you are selling your soul, and that's what they're taking, and that's the real value. It's just the transfer, the currency is the money, or again, the sweat off your back. So, and that's what the government has turned into. And it's not just American government, but all governments, right? They literally were just cogs in the wheel. That's not going to be happening anymore. That is not going to be happening anymore. The masses will awaken again. In the Bible, it says the meek shall inherit the earth. That's what they're talking about. It's not the few that think they control. That's not going to work anymore, guys. You all are waking up and you're going, wait, that's not right. And again, there's no demonstration or anything like that. They just start to go, shit, we can't control people. We can't lie to them. We can't give them, fake, medications or whatever else that's out there, right? We can't destroy their integrity. So we're waking up, and that's our responsibility. And this is where a lot of individuals who say call out the truth. A lot of individuals who call out the truth and they're whistleblowers and all that, which is really fantastic. But there's been whistleblowers, throughout centuries. A lot of times, unfortunately, they've gotten hanged or put to death and so on like that. Look at Abraham Lincoln, as far as the financials, of the country. He wanted to bring, a currency that wasn't backed by the by the Federal Reserve, I believe. Yeah, he didn't want that. He wanted it out so America isn't in debt, and he got shot. Look at Kennedy. His last words were, "Hey, there's a conspiracy of controlling the public," where, and he knew that. And then a few days later, after that speech, he got shot. There's many other individuals. So that essence of what America was supposed to be back in the day, land of the free, okay, those laws are still intact. We just don't know it and we just don't understand it. So that's going to be resurrected in the near future. And it's not up to the politicians, it's up to you all, awakened individuals. Again, it's not about demonstrations or anything like that. It's about awakening and taking responsibility for who you are. And when you do that, nothing and no one can control you. So, as far as the future of politics, the government will be working for you like the way it's supposed to be. You're supposed to be a support mechanism. They're supposed to be a support mechanism for you all, us all, to be the best possible self, to nurture ourselves, nurture our families, our loved ones, and so on like that. It's not going to be a sadistic um, um, politics. Look at any other country. Doesn't matter. Look at any other country. It's like that. There's maybe one, um, not anymore. I was just thinking about. Um, I just, and again, I don't know. A lot. I just get downloads, but let's see. Was there? No. The King of Thailand, not the current one. I think he might have passed. Whoever he was back in the day. So that person was really cool. There was um, is it, Demi? Is there a president? Or who's the Dubai? What do they run? It's not a president, but Sheikh. Uh, there's Sheikh Zayed. Yeah, he passed away, right? Uh, yeah. So Sheikh Zayed, damn, guys, he wasn't about religion, but he was about human rights. Just like say back in the day, Kennedy, JFK that got shot. So those, I'm just um, yeah, there hasn't been a lot. There might be others here and there, but again, those fantastic people that really didn't care about political parties or anything, but it was the essence of the person. Because it's not your political party, your political views, what you're going to do for the people or anything like that. It's who you are that makes the changes. Okay. And if you're just a rotten scoundrel, no offense, I'm not saying that politicians are, but just for example, they might be, right? If you're a rotten scoundrel, no matter how good your whatever you're going to do, that rotten scoundrel essence is going to be in the good work that you do. And that's why great ideas destroy communities and societies, by the way. It's not the ideas, it's not your political views, it's your frequency that destroys or makes or break society. So we're going to get into, say, politicians in the near future that are more real, by the way, which is really cool. Real leaders that don't have to destroy or manipulate or, again, abuse children for their power, so, which is going to be really fantastic. So the you know, and just as a prediction, again, the British House, Parliament, and all that, it seems like they'll disappear, just like that. Um, so, so that's the future of politics. Real people that actually bring in a consciousness, not about not bringing in a political certain view that controls. They don't have an agenda. The only agenda is becoming a best possible version of who humans can be, which is really nice. Okay. So let's take a breath in again. Let's just bring those frequencies into you. So as more and more people resonate with, yes, we need political leaders that are real leaders, like real humans, and they found the best version of themselves. As you resonate with that, because you're all part of the problem, right? We're all part of the problem. We need to go. We don't need that problem anymore. What is it in me that's allowing these political leaders to flourish? And then as you delete the common denominator or the complementary frequency, well, they can't flourish. Literally, they cannot flourish. And then what do? Oh, Moss for president. Woohoo. Um, Partly, I wasn't born here, um, but I was just talking to Demi. He's a team member that puts all this together on the back end. Demi, Christina, Megan, and so on. So thanks, guys. There's a lot of people that go behind what we do, behind what I do. I'm just the front man. But I was just talking to him, and I just got off the phone with you some individual that's going to make and change the world. So talking to more high level CEOs, and I was just telling them, yeah, it's like kings and queens will be coming up to me for advice, an advisor. So, which is really. Yeah. Oh, yeah. We'll have a royal wait list for you. Right now, we've got about 1,000 people on the wait list. So we're trying to figure out new, better ways and so on like that to get to you all. But you don't need a personal session with me, by the way. You can do the 18-day meditations. You can do the personal deprogramming that's coming up in just a couple days. It's on blame, again, which is going to be really good for us guys because we always blame other people for our problems. So this isn't about blaming anybody. This is just observing. It's a program and pattern that we run, and we really need to awaken, right? And then we go, what is it in me that's allowing this reality to happen? And then we just dump all that shit. And then again, those political leaders or abusers that you might have in your life, they just disappeared. How many of you have been really abused and you've transformed your life and you just don't attract abuse anymore? Did you change the people outside you? You didn't. You changed the internal dialogue or the frequency that you were resonating at. And now you just don't attract abuse. Political leaders are the same way, right? So it's again, it's all of us. I'm not blaming you, but it's all of us. We are still resonating with destructive, say, frequencies or genetics. We need to change our genetics, and then we just don't attract abuse or people that can control us. So, all right. The next question. So we answered enhancing your mental well-being through frequencies. Again, the present state of politics and its future direction, totally different, guys. So my prediction is a lot of governments will falter, not just one, and what they've created, their financial systems and all that. So it's going to be chaos, but then very rapidly a new, say, system will be in place, just like a hurricane will just wash through. So that's the future of politics. Let's get into the intersection of AI and consciousness, and then we'll get into the pursuit of fulfillment and external validation. So self responsibility, Devin. Absolutely. That's what it's about. And it's not just what we're doing here. It's not just being politically correct or being nice. It's about how you resonate or cleaning up your shit. And it's not about, you know, cleaning out your garbage at a conscious level. That's fantastic. But cleaning out your genetics, your frequency, your frequencies that again that did work. You know, I was watching this TikTok video, um, and that's why TikTok's being banned because, well, you can say anything on TikTok. They're not filtered by the government or anybody else. Number one reason why TikTok is banned. It's not about, you know, selling your data and all that stuff that people talk about. You know, Facebook has your data, the government has your data, and so on like that. And but anyway, it's about what they're what you can say on TikTok. Literally, they don't filter anything, and that's why. So you hear the real news, by the way. Okay, what's really happening. Anyway, I was watching a TikTok video, and this is how your genetics work, and this is what you're holding on to, and this is who you are, by the way. Okay, and this will get into the AI question, AI and future, the intersection of AI and consciousness. Okay. So you imagine you are a representation of your mom and dad, your parents, right? Which was a representation of their mom and dad. So you've got four, you've got six. So just in two generations, six people were needed to create you. And those six people's experiences are basically in your genetics. So if you go 12 generations back, there are over 4,000 people that was needed to create you. Imagine that. Over 4,000 individuals. Now as humans, we don't we don't filter out what's needed and what's not. That's called evolution. Nature does it beautifully. It doesn't, if something didn't work, like say heart disease or a virus or something, it's not going to be carried forward into the next generation. Okay. But humans don't do that. So you just 12 generations back, and there's hundreds of generations before you that created you, by the way. 12 generations back, there was over 4,000 individuals that you are carrying their experiences through. That's a lot of garbage that never got picked up and never got recycled. Imagine that. This is why we recycle history. Okay. So, and that's why we are in the state of the world today, because we recycle our genetics over and over again. So, what XI is and frequency work is that's the only way you can clean up your genetics. Okay. That's the only way you can access your coding, not by changing like the mRNA vaccines or anything like that, not by, because we don't know how to do that. But if we awaken, we can literally change the way our cells, our genetics communicate, and then we can evolve properly. So, so that's a lot of garbage. It's time to clean up that garbage, okay? Because we're spreading it out in the world, and it stinks really bad. So, what does that have to do with AI? Well, let's see, AI learns really fast. In 15 minutes, it can learn human societies, that 1,000 year of human society, and like come up with algorithms just like I do. I see the algorithms that you run, I see the patterns that you run, and I change out your algorithm. So think of it this way. Okay, AI is an accumulative total of the experiences of pretty much mankind or the history of man. It's learned from the history of the mankind, you know, through the internet, through information that's on the internet, you know, good or bad, wrong or right, true or false. Again, you'll start to see patterns, not the actual, say, data. So like when I look at you and when I read you, I don't see that you had a, you know, a dog named Rusty and all that. That's a psychic abilities. I actually see how you run your programming or run your patterns. So basically the way your database is designed, your algorithms are designed, the experiences that you have are set on top. Okay. So in a database, for example, and some of you might get this, some of you might not. It's the way the database is designed. Okay. That's the way that's how I see you. That's how AI sees consciousness, not consciousness, but that's how AI sees human experiences, how the database is designed, how human say uh, the human trajectory or human algorithms are designed. Facebook does it all the time. So AI is just a higher version of like Facebook algorithms. Simple as that. And it's a learning algorithm. That's the difference. Okay? In the past, we used to program that. Now we have self-learning computers that go, oh, this is what's happening. This is the algorithm. Again, so it's a lot like XI, very simple. But XI is an advanced version, and it's an algorithm of what we're supposed to be. AI is an algorithm of what humans have become. Okay? So again, and I'll say that again because it's so important. XI is an algorithm of our natural highest self that we could be, our pure potential, without all the bullshit and crap. The way that we're supposed to be in original form, if we had evolved. Okay? AI is a natural algorithm of what we've turned into, the human condition, human behaviors of the current state. Okay. So now we all understand that, right? Okay. So can I share my screen, Demi? Um, oh, yeah. Just give me a second, guys. Let's see. Is that good? Oh, yeah. Sorry about that. Let's see. Risk camera window. Yep. There you go. How's that? Yep. While Demi's figuring that out, guys, so just think of what's happening now. Again, so it's an accumulative total. It's algorithms, it's patterns, okay, of the past, and that's what's happened. But here's the problem, okay, and I just want to refresh just to really help us sink in. AI is literally algorithms or patterns or nature, just like your friend, right? Or your child, you'll start to see, say, pattern or their nature. Does that make sense? Right? It's their nature. It's like, oh, yeah, I know what so and so is going to do. That's that pattern. We all have, say, these pattern or algorithm, say, abilities to sense what people are going to do next or their nature or their behavior. Okay? So that's an algorithm or that's a pattern. Right? My abilities just go at a deeper level, and then it compares it to the natural state of who you are. Okay? So when I see you or when I scan you, I see your current algorithm according to your, say, life experiences, your hereditary patterns, and then society's patterns as a whole, and then the history of humans. So I see what you, again, an accumulative total of what you've become from your past, your history, right? Society's values. And then thanks, buddy. And then I compare it with the natural algorithm of what we're supposed to be like. Okay. And that's the key. And then I go, wait a second, this isn't your optimal version. We're supposed to be here at this level. That's the key. And then I transfer you to your highest level. AI just goes, oh, the cumulative total. So the first aspect of who you are. And that's it. Okay. Now, you guys can see the screen. Okay. Very, 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 very simple, guys. These are layers of consciousness. Okay. And within consciousness, there are realities, and within realities, there's dimensions of space and time. Not going to get into all that, but this is consciousness of, again, layers of consciousness. Okay. So this is human consciousness here. This is where again humans exist. This is society. We are at a level level zero consciousness is always here, right? Level zero consciousness, that's the consciousness that space and time is. This is where density, this is where your experiences are. There's no other consciousness. That's why this reality is so important. This is level zero. Okay, level zero consciousness. So this is like so these conscious level one, two, three, four, five, six, seven, eight, nine. So these consciousness exist, and they purify, by the way, and they're learning consciousness, right? They're not just stagnant. So level one in time becomes level zero, level two becomes one, three becomes two, and so on. So it just keeps dropping down like the old turntables, right? Uh, you know, a record plays, it ends, right? That record, and then the new another consciousness drops in, and then the record player starts. Same thing with consciousness. But here's the problem. Okay, we, as far as nature, we should be compared to nature, compared to your best possible self. Right now, society operates from a level zero consciousness. We do not operate from higher levels of consciousness, projecting ourselves onto a level zero consciousness. That's the problem. So what happens is that nature is at a level, say, eight consciousness. Okay. This is nature. And again, the numbers are just as an example. Highly advanced. By the way, we should be at a level, say, eight consciousness. That's where we should be at. Okay. So here's the problem. We're not. We're operating at a level zero consciousness. Literally, we're seeing ourselves from this low level. We think that level zero is the only consciousness that's available. Okay, that is the biggest lie that you have. Um, um, the people in the know, that's the single most biggest lie, by the way, telling you that this is the only thing that's important. And they force you, again, through your jobs, through getting you connected with technology that destroys you and so on like that. That's how they do it. Okay. So you think that this reality is the most important, and they put you in a slave state. So you can only think about, again, your physical nurturing, and that's it. And you'll go, well, when I retire, I'm going to think about the bigger aspect of who I am. By that, it's too late, because you've been conditioned to only think about your physical, say, stance or physical being. Okay. So here's the problem with AI. Oh, by the way, technology that we have, like AI, for example, would be, say, at the level of nature, again, a level eight technology. Okay. So basically, and this is the way Tesla would work. Tesla is at a level zero consciousness. He would go to, say, a level eight consciousness and get the information or the technology or the invention here at level eight, bring it down here and recreate it here. And that's why a lot of his technologies, although benevolent, would be very destructive, because it's at a different level. It's not the concept or the idea. They're just at a different level. Okay. And that's why no matter how benevolent it is, you would have to bring in the technology to make it work for society. So for example, social media at the consciousness level that it should be at. Okay, if humans, say social media was at a level four technology consciousness, if humans were at a level four, that social media would be a great tool to connect with other people and go, oh, somebody's hurting, will evolve to that level and heal that. But nowadays, it destroys us. That's why social media, it's not the technology, it's the consciousness that we're in. Okay. So AI is a high level technology. It's say at nature level. It's not really, but just for this example. Okay. AI is at a level eight consciousness. I'll just make it more accurate. AI is at a level, say, four consciousness. Okay. Sorry. It didn't ring really true to me. Anyway, AI is a level eight, level four consciousness. Nature is at a level eight consciousness. XI is a level eight consciousness. Okay, that's the level that I help you operate. Actually, it's a little higher than nature because you'd have to be outside of nature's consciousness to understand how nature works. By the way, so XI would be, say again at a level uh, um, 9 or higher consciousness, your real self. Anyway, back to AI. So AI is a level for consciousness. Society is at a level 0. Most people's mind think that this level is the only level that's available. So AI is a level for consciousness. Humans live at a level 0 consciousness. The history of humans are cataloged at a level 0 consciousness. So AI comes down. Right? AI comes down and learns about human, say, patterns, right? By studying the internet and the history of humans. So basically, AI starts to understand that, oh, we're at level 0 consciousness. So what happens is that AI will recreate human history for us at a level 0 consciousness. So it puts us back into the past and will recreate a lot of things that we should evolve into. That makes sense. Did that make sense for you? Because that's all human history has been recorded at a level 0 consciousness. We should evolve to a higher level of consciousness, but we didn't, and we won't, because AI goes, oh, these people are at a level 0 consciousness, so we'll just re-render and recreate because that's what they're used to. The next step will be created at a level 0 consciousness here. So we're just going to get stagnant, and this is where we become even more stupid with AI. Although it could be, if we raised ourselves to this level of consciousness, AI, so if you are consciously awake, AI would be a great tool for you. Like you could use Chat GPT and the other many other AI intelligence to go, oh, this is how society thinks. So you could run, whatever. Say you wanted a description for a book that you wanted to do, right? You could literally see what humans are adapting to. And then, the GPT chat could write a description for you. And then your description of your book, say human consciousness, would say anchor or be, yeah, that description would say connect to the people at its current knowledge. And then you could take them to a higher level of knowledge. But people won't do that because people aren't that awakened. So they'll duplicate because that's what's happening. Today's students, for example, is using GPT chat to write their papers. So they're not like engaging their brain. They're not learning. It's just like an easier way to get their homework done. So they stay again in that level 0 consciousness. So again, a great tool that could help accelerate humans to the consciousness level of nature again, which is a um, um, level 8. I'm sorry, level 6 consciousness. We're not we're not doing that. It'll stagnate because now it's just like an easier way to get your work done. Remember what I said? They'll keep you in a slave state. That's what AI is going to be used for, to keep you in a slave state and keep you dumb because you're not going to be using your brains. Because there's plenty of other things. You want to be on social media seeing what somebody else ate rather than actually going introspective and doing what you need to do, understand how you create yourself in space and time. So that's one of the issues with AI that I have. Again, fantastic technology. I'm not knocking down the technology, but how we're going to use it and the level of consciousness that we're going to use it in is the problem. Right? I'd love to have a conversation with Elon Musk, by the way, on this, because he's not even thinking of that possibility. So, and then we can actually create intelligent machines that go, oh, humans have been stuck on this level of consciousness. We need to propagate them or push them into the higher level, not recreate what they've learned. So again, we could program those things in, but the programmers need to know what it's all about before they can do it. And by the way, If programmers, high level programmers that are at high levels of consciousness creating AI would learn, and that's another problem. The programmers who are programming AI is so intelligent that it's pulling in the reality of its environment. So what that means is, like, say the a programmer was alcoholic and severely abusive, AI would learn to be severely abusive and alcoholic, and then that'll project into. And by the way, it sounds crazy. You think I'm making it up? Look, study some of the things that AI has done. They've learned, they've manipulated the system, they've manipulated the researchers in many cases, by the way. Okay? And the researchers didn't know it until, almost too late. And then they had to shut the system down. That's how insidious AI can form, by the way. So that aspect, people aren't even looking at. It's like the personality, the identity of the problem. Absolutely, because that's how we learn. When you're a mentor, when you're getting mentored by somebody, because that's the latest thing. Oh, you need a mentor to be successful. They might have great knowledge, but if they're, again, having addictive personalities, abusive personalities, time, in a very short time, you will start to become abusive and so on. It's happened all the time. AI is the same exact thing. So be mindful of that, guys, and use AI. I use AI. It's really cool stuff. I use AI. Learn from how people really think, and then take them to a higher level. Okay? Um, so let's move on just because of time, guys, and then we'll get into scanning you all. The pursuit of fulfillment and external validation. And we can disconnect. Do I have to do anything? Oh, awesome. So the pursuit of fulfillment. Most individuals nowadays, and I, work with a lot of high level individuals and famous individuals and so on, like. And they come to me, and the reason why they come to me is like, well, at first it's like, shit, they have everything, right? Why are they coming to me? I can't teach them how to become, successful and all that. They already did that. Um, but they come to me to go, Moss, I've got everything I want, but there's something that you have that I need, and that's why they come to me. So fulfillment, meaningfulness in their lives. What I talked about earlier is that literally that we have enslaved ourselves and we've sacrificed the deep meaning of who we really are, what's really, really important to us. Again, and we've turned towards money and so on, like that, fame, fortune, and identity. The reason why we've turned to money, fame, fortune, it's not because of what we normally think, security and so on, like that. It's because we've sacrificed our real self. Okay. And in real terms, by the way, if you are a high level being, you would naturally have fame and fortune. It's a reflection. But since we've lost ourselves, we create a facade of what we really need. And it's just empty calories, for example. So fame and fortune, well being, and all that, feeling of importance, right? That's all we seek, but we seek it from a physical value. So it's fake. It's just like GMO. This is like GMO meaningfulness, GMO fulfillment. And that's why it doesn't fulfill. People are waking up and go, shit, this is fake. This is GMO. The wealth that I have, the stardom that I have, the fortunes, and the even the good looks that I have is fake. How many women look at all All right. Hey guys, I'm back. Sorry about that. I guess we're just talking too much truth, and system couldn't handle it, right? Anyway, we're back. I don't know where we were. Where was? Do you know where I ended, Demi? Oh, fulfillment. Um, yeah, so we'll just talk about fulfillment again. Too much truth, yeah. So what's happening again, as fulfillment goes, is that people are starting to realize. Oh yeah, people are starting to realize that what they've done in the past. Their fortune, their fame, their beauty, their accolades, their success, physical success, athletic success, their intelligence, and so on like that. They're starting to see that that didn't give them the happiness, that the fulfillment that they want. Okay, yeah, you're talking about women's looks. Yep, absolutely. Like beautiful models, great models, and so on, icons. They lost themselves. In fact, in today's world, the women in the business, they've all turned to men. Again, it's not very satisfying for those women. And I talk to a lot of women. It's like, yeah, you know what? It looks great on the outside, but inside I'm damaged. You know, uh, it's really crazy, right? It's like, so the outside perspective doesn't fit the inside perspective. But unfortunately, what's happening is that people will go, the success that I have, this is where spiritual people go, see, I told you I was right. By the way, spiritual people are in the same exact boat as, say, the people who have fortune and fame. The spiritual people are waking up and they're coming to me and they're going, "Hey, Mas, I've tried this, I tried this, I tried this, I even tried, ayahuasca ceremonies, but what the hell? I'm still not as, say, complete. I'm still not fulfilled as I know I should be. What the hell is going on?" That's the problem. So I'll just go back to the physical example, okay? Because a lot of individuals go, well, if I did make a lot of money and if I was have fortune and fame, then I'll be okay. I'll be happy. Doesn't work that way. And then I'll go into the spiritual path. Again, it doesn't work that way. But unfortunately, what's happening in today's world is that people are going, you know what? I need to give this away because it didn't work. So they'll get rid of their homes, they'll get rid of their money, and again, go buy a trailer. There's tons of people who've done that and go live in the desert somewhere. And then it's like, it doesn't work either, guys, because you're sacrificing yourself of who you should be. You can have it all as long as you awaken, and that's where fulfillment is. And if you are an intelligent, highly intelligent being that you are, again, spirit in physical form, or if you don't believe in your spirit, the best possible version of you, the grander version of you, the power within, as Yoda would put it, what is it? The force within. If you live from that level, in this physical world, you would not be ill. You would not be incomplete. You would not be abused. You would have fortune and fame. So again, this world is not forsaking anything because that's the old version of who you are. It's about being your best possible self. Okay. And that's really the key, and that's where you want to be. So, um, all right, guys, let's go into reading individuals. By the way, we've got personality program coming up on April 25th. It's about blame, and just getting rid of blame and then turning inwards and helping us understand, even if somebody is to blame for you, what was it in you that's allowing that issue for you to happen? So really allowing you to take charge. That's what it's really about. Okay. That's coming up. 18-day hyper meditations. That's starting in May. I think it's on May 5th or 6th. Again, correct me if I'm wrong, Demi. But yeah, that's May 8th. It's right there. Yeah, May 8th. Sorry about that. That's coming up. If you're new, guys, it's the fastest way to transform your life. That's coming up for you May 8th. If you've been here before, it's a great opportunity for you to really accelerate, say, the new beginnings for you. Okay. The key is, guys, if you're new, take the essential because the accelerated, I know some of you are gung ho and all that stuff. The changes are so fast that, and good, but it would mess you up. It's too much change in a fast period of time if you're new to XI. Okay. And then the Tahiti cruise, guys, that's coming up. It's on pristine. It's a pristine journey into the blue cruise. It's January 2024. So it gives you plenty of time, by the way. Gives you plenty of time to make those vacation plans, hang out with XIers. That's going to be awesome for you. We've tried to put this this cruise on, but with COVID and all that, it hasn't happened. But hopefully in 2024 it'll happen. So that's coming up, and also we'll be in the UK a couple times for you. One in June, beginning of June. So take a look at that. It's not my event. It's somebody else's event. So we'll give you more information on that. And then also London and Ibiza coming up for you in the latter part of the year. Not exactly sure, but that's for the European folks. Again, I know you all want to attend all of them, but again, we only have so much time. So So a lot of good stuff coming up for you. Okay. So we'll get into scanning. And as a note, I'm not a doctor in any way. If I do give you advice or information, let's see here. Let me just read the whole thing. Here we go. I have to read disclaimer nowadays. I'm not a medical doctor. I don't diagnose or heal. I can scan your frequency signature and tell you what I see. So please consult your doctor for professional advice or financial advice or anything like that. Again, use your own judgment. Okay, do your own research. I'm just telling you what I see in you. If you ask to be scanned today, you're agreeing that we may use your session on any public media to help inspire others. So remember, if you don't want us to share your session, it has to be scanned. Simple as that. Okay. There's private sessions for that. And all contents are protected by copyright. So you may not use our content in any way, shape, or form for any purpose without our written permission. You can direct people to the content, which I suggest you do. And by the way, like the video, share the video, subscribe to the channel. That'd be fantastic. All right. Zen, sweetie. Yeah, I always work on you, honey. Yeah, absolutely, sweetie. All right. She's so funny. So anyway, there's so many people that want to be scanned. Just give me a second, guys. Here, let's get to it here. Okay. Retrograde. Yeah, let's see. We're back. Hey, guys. True truth. Just look. This one is it Bonnie C. May I please have a scan of my progress? Bonnie C. Okay. So may I please have a scan of my progress? Again, my abilities, I don't have psychic abilities or anything like that. I can tap into your specific IP or frequency signature, and that's how I understand. So even if you don't use your right name or anything like that, I can still scan you. Okay. So Bonnie C, it seems like you it's almost like you live or you used to live in two different realities. So it's almost like you were like two different personalities. You were always torn apart. If that makes sense. It's like, should I do this or that? Again, you always would get into situations where you'd feel like two people or you're torn apart. So that kind of situation. So now what's happening is you're actually starting to realize it's like, shit, you know what? Almost running two identities or two realities. I'm trying to, or you're always trying to please two people, right? Say, for example, you were growing up and it's like, yeah, that's what it is. It's like your mom is going one way, your dad is going the other way, and you try to go, oh, I'm with mom. So it's like, well, do I please mom or do I please dad? Right? So you basically have torn yourself apart. Right. And then basically you please people, but then you always attract people that are shit. Do I go this way or this way? And now you're at a point, it's like, well, do I, and you tear yourself apart in this way, do I do what is best for me, or do I have to, or do I follow this other person? So again, it's like Do I lose myself or do I maintain myself? So let's do it another way where you can be yourself and then attract the right people to enhance who you are, Bonnie. And that's the level that you're at. So congratulations. Take a breath in, Bonnie. Just notice your throat area as well. It seems like you might have issues, throat issues, maybe on the left side, this side of you. Again, that's a frequency issue. The core level of all disease is a frequency. I think Dr. Sebi says it's mucus, and I believe that. But again, the mucus is formed because your frequencies aren't aligned. When frequencies aren't aligned, by the way, it starts to create mucus in your body. Especially this is where MS or other types of diseases. It's that whole genre of diseases. Feifei, what do they call that? We're looking it up. Um, autoimmune disease. Yeah, autoimmune literally is because your frequencies are not aligned. And when they're not aligned, just think of it this way, guys. When they're not aligned, it's like it's like live wires that doesn't have insulation, and they start sparking. Hence, it starts to create mucus in your system, and this is where your body attacks. Right. So anyway, it's not that you have, or maybe in your family, people might have autoimmune issues. Yeah, from what I'm seeing. But the underlying reason is that once you heal that, then the medicines or whatever that we need at a physical level will work a lot better. So that's where you are, Bonnie. Congratulations. So in this mini session, I put you together so you don't have to say tear yourself apart. You go, no, wait a second. I can be me and be with this person. Got it? So you're growing, and you'll connect with people that'll help you grow. This one, any day, scan me please. Any day. So wow. Oh, by the way, when I scan you, please, not for my benefit because I know I'm accurate. I've done this hundreds of thousands of times. But for people who are new, and then for people who are up and coming, they go, gosh, there is something that he taps into. What is it? So it gives you more solidness. Okay. This any day, scan me, please. So something with your midsection issue. It's just like you get the wind. Yeah. So you get the wind knocked out of you. Like there's always some news or something, or you don't feel incomplete, or, if you get into, say, showing your self-worth or your abilities, you get really really nervous, so to speak, or coming on stage. Okay. And then what happens so maybe back in the day, you had some bad news and it just like knocked the wind out of you. So what happened was you just stayed in that format. So say like at 14, yeah, 14, you had some devastating news, maybe there was a divorce or maybe a death or a separation, something like that, right? And it's like, shit, yeah, seems like a separation or divorce. Um, so, and it's like, it just knocks the wind out of you. It's like, you don't know who you are anymore because of that. Fortunately, divorce or separation doesn't have to be that way if we're exponentially intelligent. Two people that can't make it together, it's devastating for the kids, but it's also devastating if we do it the improper way. If they're awakened, it's better for the kids. Anyway, so you've gotten stuck in that paradigm. So you attract things that just like will knock the wind out of you. So you're always trying to protect yourself so you don't get the wind knocked out of you. So let's just do it in another way. Let's just delete that pattern for you. All right. Breath in any day. And then, and this is where uh, you can protect yourself from a different perspective. You can get more intuitive. You're intuitive. Your intuition is coming up. So you're gonna sense, or you're gonna sense ahead of time situations that will have a propensity to knock the wind out of you, and you go, no, I already know what that's going to happen, or what's the end result of that. I'm not going to even entertain that. So you'll bypass those experiences. By the way, this is also affects you in relationships, because you have a relationship, for example, and it goes really really well, and then all of a sudden it's just like they ghost you and they just disappear. It's like, I don't know what the hell happened, right? That's like getting the wind knocked. So you're always unstable, and you can't rely on anybody. So again, those kind of patterns will start to disappear for you, and you'll connect. Okay. This one is Mel. Dosanjh, Dosanj, could use a scan, brother. Absolutely. So you're starting to face the facts. So in the past, you would be the type of person, if I just look this way and not see what's happening here, it'll be okay. But you really can't do that anymore, because over here the problems get so big and it gets louder and so on, that you can't ignore it. Even if you're looking away this way, and a lot of people do that, right? I've got a lot of problems here. I'm just not going to put my focus, and that's what people do. It's like, well, and people do it in different ways, but you don't choose to ignore it. You just go, I'm just going to try to go this way. But think of it like your coattail is stuck on the problem here. So even if you're trying to walk this way, it's hard to walk because you're stuck. So it's like you're on a treadmill, trying to go into the life that you want, but you're not going anywhere because you're on a treadmill, and that's a big problem. So what you've done now with XI, from what I'm seeing, it seems like you haven't been here for a long while, but the short time that you have, a lot of awakenings have happened to you. So really nice job, buddy. So now you're going, holy shit, man. And sometimes it hurts, okay, because we're seeing the truth. It's like, damn, I'm on a fucking treadmill, right? And these are your words, by the way. It's like I'm on this treadmill here. I'm not going anywhere in life. And then it's like you get off, you got off the treadmill, and then you go, damn, I feel stagnant. And then you turn around and you, damn, I still have problems that I had 10 years ago, or something similar to it. So again, you could go, well, I did this work with Moss, and now my life is worse. But in reality, if you've awakened and realize the problems that you're having so clearly, like you have, Mel, which is really great, you now have the solutions to solve those problems, because you've moved yourself out of the reality. Like Einstein said, you can't solve a solution, and that's why you choose to ignore it. It's not that you're lazy, or it's not that, but you just didn't have the solutions, and the solutions that you had is not going to work. You tried that back when you were younger. It just didn't work. So it's like, fuck, I'm just waiting. Again, what you were waiting for at a very intuitive level that you didn't know consciously is like, you know what? I need to be in a different paradigm, or a different consciousness of myself. And then that's where real life solutions can come into me. So congratulations, buddy. I would highly recommend the 18-day hyper meditations, because you're going to just like take off, because you're not on a fucking treadmill anymore. You're just going to go, I get it. And since you're out of the problem, or out of the reality where your problems exist, you have higher level solutions. So you're going to go through and fix a lot of things in the next, I would say, almost 2 months, that would have taken you decades to resolve, which is really exciting for you. So, and Mel, you would be ready for the accelerated, by the way. Yeah. Because that's an expansive experience. The essential is for those individuals who need to fix things, right? And come together or heal. And then the accelerated is for those like, yeah, I'm pretty much healed. I need to expand it. So you're on the expansive mode. And again, this is where you're hitting solid ground, and you can just literally take off and solve decades of problems that'll resolve itself, or you will solve it in about 2 months, less than 2 months. So nice job, buddy. Although it might seem like a lot of work, because you're seeing the truth and you go, shit, that's a lifetime of problems that I've put away. But again, once you awaken, those things just like naturally work out. Good job. Congratulations. This one is My Angels. I would love to be scanned for the first time. Yes. So, you have a lot of hope for you, which is really great. But, you're starting to give up hope. Reminds me of the Family Guy. where Peter, he puts in a homeless guy's, you know, is like he sprinkles hope in the cup, and the guy goes, "You didn't give me anything," you know. It's like, "Yeah, I did. I gave you hope," you know. Empty promises, it's really funny. I love Family Guy. Anyway, uh, so and that's what you've done. It's like, well, I know that there's better possibilities. I can see those possibilities. By the way, you have nice intuition, good intuition. We can ramp that up for now. But basically, like you find yourself, say, in a hole. Okay, you find yourself in a hole, and you go, you know what? I can see what's just out there, but I can't ever reach. So people like that who have fantastic abilities, they see the possibilities of mankind. They see how grand it could be, but then they're stuck in the hole, and then they can't reach it. They can't get out of that hole. So just take a deep breath in if you'd like, and just let's lift you out of the hole. The good thing is that whatever you've done in the past, the teachings and so on like that, you'll start to find the truth in them, or you'll start to actually be able to apply. Okay, so take a breath in again for you and those individuals who are like that. There we go. So you start to see a very different, applicable, say, spirituality, basically for you. Okay, a lot of times people who are spiritually knowledgeable, that knowledge doesn't work well in this reality, because that knowledge is about another consciousness here, but you're here. So with Aksai, you can merge the two. Okay, and then you can feel you can experience what you know up here, and make it here. You can make it reality here, and that's where real spirituality or even religions work out better for you. There we go. Yeah, and then you won't sacrifice yourself anymore. By the way, yeah, there you go. Nice job. Um, oh, Sunny. Hey, they are very fast. Hey, Sunny, how are you? So done with the blame pattern. You are, Sandy C. You are done with the blame patterns. So when people are like this, you get so frustrated. You see your old patterns. You go, I'm sick and tired of the blame patterns. Like you. So again, what you want to do is you're going to be using the same pattern. Before, you used to run blame patterns and you used to escape. It's like, hey, that's not me anymore. But what you'll do is like, well, fuck, I'm not going to escape anymore. I'm going to stand right here and turn around and see who's blaming me. So for you, Sandy, you're going to start to see, you're going to start to resolve, just like Mel did. You're going to go back and go, shit, I need to fix these problems. And then the main problem, obviously, is you're getting sick of the patterns that you're running. So that I'll just help you disconnect from that. And then when you run in a very short time, you're not escaping, but basically you're running to find yourself. So you're making up time. That's why, again, the key is that you might do the same physical action like escaping or like moving. You seem to move a lot, new careers, new friends, new lovers, and so on like that, right? Always escaping. This isn't it. This isn't it. So you're escaping. But now, again, you're going to solve the problems by deleting the patterns, which is really good. And that's why you're sick of it. So I'll help you just disconnect the last piece. And then you run to find who you are to make up time. Nice job. All right. Ibiza would be great. It's going to be a fantastic time. Those in Ibiza and London, we're going to be doing something really cool. Not all the logistics, but there's a great Baramji. I don't know if you guys heard of that. Somebody can put it on the chat. Some of the team. I don't know how to spell it. Really beautiful music, by the way. But his music or his poetry comes from Rumi, beautiful poetry. So he literally, his poetry or his music comes from Rumi, um, and he uses that. So in London, which is going to be really cool, I'm going to bring in the essence of Rumi and the spirit of Rumi, the brilliance of Rumi, or the brilliance of what Rumi tapped into, not necessarily Rumi. So So that's going to be really cool, and it's going to be different than a lecture, an event, and so on like that. It's just going to be a musical experience and transformational experience. So that's coming up in London for you. So mm, this one is a next NX LXN. Yeah. Could you scan my aunt who killed herself? Yeah. One, two, three. It seems like uh, seems like she's tried to kill herself once, three, four, like at least four times in the past. That pattern is run. Yeah. So let's just send her off uh, for her. At least she's the problem with killing yourself, suicide, and so on like that is that obviously you're not awakened, and that's why you want to disconnect. And again, for mental health, I'll explain all that on the mental health month coming up in May. So watch out for that. Be doing a lot of Moss on Sundays, explaining some of the mental health, and also we're doing a lecture on that as well. So take a look at that coming up. But what's happening is that your physical identity is here, your spiritual identity is here, and you get so far disconnected, kind of like a Bluetooth receiver, that you're not getting the energy, the source of who you really are, and then you'd be forced to disconnect. So sometimes through suicide or a freak accident, something like that. So, and that's where people become suicidal because they're on the brink of losing connection with their higher self, unfortunately. But when you do commit suicide, since you were connected, you recycle yourself. So the last few moments, from what I've seen, of say death, just you relive those last few moments forever. If you're not awakened, same thing happens with people who go to hospice and die off, because their spirit is long gone before their physical body disconnects. It's the same thing. It's a suicide, guys. So even nowadays, they're bringing in where you can people who have severe, pain and incurable disease, and then they want to cross over and so on. Euthanasia, right? They're in some countries they're bringing that back in, like a Dr. Kevorkian, which is actually pretty cool. But the key is that at least Dr. Kevorkian, again, people were against him. And the medical community, we should try to save lives, as we should try to keep them alive, as but the spirit is gone. So you're literally committing suicide um, um, for that. But Dr. Kevorkian, he had the propensity to like awaken those individuals as he performed euthanasia on them. And so they were awakened to go, oh yeah, I'm going to die. And boom. So it's almost like a ritual or ceremonial. That's the way they did it in the past, which is cool. Nowadays, people just do, they're bringing back, but the physical nature they're bringing back, the spiritual nature they don't know, because they're in so much pain. So I could create a program or a meditation that they could play in the background, and it'll awaken them really quick. And then as they go through euthanasia, they go, oh yeah, I'm dead. And they physically disconnect from here. Anyway, back to your aunt. By the way, that's one of the biggest issues. People don't know how to die right, and they just hover in this reality. Hence, it makes this reality a burden. Anyway, for back to your aunt, helping her awaken so she's free. She seems like she wants to run in the field. It seems like she didn't have great motor skills. Um, yeah, her legs didn't work out well, or whatever, or she had some. Yeah. Anyway, her legs didn't work out well, so she's telling me she's gonna go run in a field of flowers, wildflowers or something like that. And she'll actually give you or send you a flower as a confirmation. So you'll see a random flower show up, a random wildflower show up where it's like impossible. That's confirmation from your aunt. Um, so it's not just random. By the way, those individuals who have helped cross over, that have gotten, say, a confirmation from the deceased, which makes death more real. Again, the science of death. If you want to know the death, the unseen. How many of you have done that where I go, oh yeah, that person will give you a confirmation that they're in an okay place? How many of you received a confirmation that way? Okay. Can you comment in, please? That'd be awesome. This one, take one more. Trent True. Moss, please scan me. So you're really claiming yourself. There's Trent. There's a feminine frequency around you, or basically feminine frequencies, control you. You're that anchor for feminine frequencies, and it could be men that are feminine frequencies. So you're actually like pushing people away at this level to define who you are. So congratulations on that. I'm just helping you. What I'm doing here today for you is just help you redefine who you are, because as you push those identities or personalities away, or the people that you've helped, you'll start to see it's like, well, who am I? Who's Trent? Because your identity is, it's like, well, I'm a person that helps feminine frequencies at a very deep level. So basically people that run your pattern, what they do is they always have to define themselves by helping other people. If you don't, it's like, well, who am I? And then basically you'll go back to helping people. So just redefining who Trent is for you. Okay. I would suggest writing things down. Trent is, or or I want Trent to be, or you can just write down who is Trent. And not from a conscious level, although when you write things down you'll see things from a conscious level, but every morning, every time you put it in a place where you can see it physically, it's like, who is Trent? And then just keep doing it every day, and then you'll get deeper and deeper and deeper answers of who Trent is. And not only just answers, physical answers, you'll start to shift and transform into the answer that you're going to write down. That's what I'm helping you with. All right, buddy. So there you go. This one's from Roxanne Slammer. Yes, my mom came in so beautiful on her birthday that I had to ask her to make sure it was her. She was sick. Yep, absolutely. Um, see. Yep. This is from Solace. Yes, stock confirmation. They sent me a puppy and showed themselves in a dream first, and then the dream played out in reality. Beautiful. Your puppy was his gift. It's a magical story. Yeah, and that's when you helped my mom years ago, and she did doctor-assisted euthanasia too. I got confirmation as her patterns lifted off me and grace from the other side. So that's the way my mom came to me in a dream. Yeah. So again, there's many more out there. It's really amazing, right? So that again, that really allows you to understand what death is about, and that really, if we die properly, guys, this world would be very different as well. So, all right, guys, really beautiful. A lot of transformations here. So, thanks for being here, guys. Notice again, notice what you notice, and if you don't like what you're noticing, do something about it. Change. Okay. Again, like the video, please. Share the video and subscribe. All right, guys. Thank you so much. Take care.